When you know, you know. That is the whole explanation of sacral authority in 5 words. Human design books spend pages trying to define it, and that is it. When your gut says yes, you feel it before your brain has time to argue. When it says no, you feel that too. The problem is not that your gut does not know. The problem is that your brain is very loud. Your heart is very loud. And you have spent a lifetime learning to listen to everything except one voice that actually knows. Now I want to tell you a little story. Years ago, when I first moved to Austin, I was working at the Capitol during legislative session. Most days I would work well into the night, but when I did have time and got home before dark, I'd drive to the nearby middle school to run at the track. One evening I pulled in, got out of my truck, and saw someone standing there. And I immediately got a feeling in my gut something was off. Something about that person was off. And something just was not sitting right with me about it. But here we are, always told not to judge people based on how they look, do not make assumptions, all of the stuff. So I pushed that feeling down and went on my run anyways. When I got done, I went back to my truck and someone had tried to break into it. They could not get in, but I had a house key stored in my gas tank. And before anyone goes getting any ideas, I do not store them in my gas tank anymore, so don't try to look for it there. But they got my house key. I had to get my lock changed because, as a female living alone, you always have to be prepared for the what-ifs. And in my mind, for the next few weeks, that what-if was, what if he saw me leave the track and followed me home? But I knew exactly who had done it because my gut had told me exactly who it was the moment I saw him standing there. I overrode that feeling and I paid the price for it. That is what ignoring your sacral authority looks like in real life, not just in jobs and relationships. Sometimes it's in a parking lot and knowing something your brain is not ready to accept yet. Hey y'all, it's your podcast bestie Jama again. And that was a way longer hook than normal, wasn't it? But anyways, here we are, 3 episodes into the Human Design series, and today we're getting into one of the most personal pieces of my chart, my inner authority, specifically my sacral authority, which is my gut response, how I am designed to make decisions, why overriding it has cost me more than I want to admit, and why it is still one of the hardest things I work on every single day. So what sacral authority actually is? In human design, your inner authority is how you are designed to make decisions. Not your mind, not logic, not what makes sense on paper. Your body. Sacral authority specifically means your gut response. That immediate physical yes or no that happens before your brain has time to catch up and weigh in. It is what people mean when they say, trust your gut. Except in human design, it's not just a saying. It is literally your most reliable decision-making tool. The challenge is that most of us have been taught to override it. Think things through, be reasonable, consider all the options, don't act on feelings. For sacral beings, all of that is exactly backwards. I want to be honest about something before we go any further. I have always thought of myself as a logical person. I think I say that to everybody I know. My head is loud. My heart is loud sometimes too. Sometimes everything looks good on paper, but it just doesn't feel right. The hard part about sacral authority is that it's asking you to choose the feeling over the paper every single time. Even when the paper makes a really convincing argument. Even when your head is building a whole case for why you should stay, or go, or say yes, when your gut is already saying no. The head, the heart, and the gut are all loud at different times. Learning which one is the true guide is one of those ongoing projects in my life. What I do know is that every time I have ignored my gut, I have paid for it. So let's share what it actually feels like when it's a yes. A sacral yes is sometimes hard to put into words because it does not live in those words. It lives in your body. When your gut says go, you just know. No hesitation, no internal argument. When you know, you know. So here I am with another running story for you guys, this time on the other side of it. One dark winter morning, I went out for an early morning run. It was warm enough for shorts and a tank. It is Texas after all, but it was pitch black outside still. I was barely a tenth of a mile or so in when I saw a dark, hooded figure up on the main street ahead of me, and I got this feeling in my gut immediately. I turned around and ran back home as fast as I could and locked the door, and let's just say I couldn't go back to sleep. I skipped the run that morning and held onto my phone really tight in case I had to call somebody. A couple days later, I heard that someone had been attacked in that exact area while out on a run. And then a few days after that, another attack on a runner. Multiple locations around the same time and area where I live and run. And I knew, my gut had told me, and that time I listened. And I genuinely believe that skipped run saved me. That is what a sacral yes feels like when you trust it. You just know and you move on it. And a lighter example, this podcast. Every week, my brain tells me I do not know what I'm going to do. Every week, I wonder if I should take a break. The show has changed completely several times since I first started the Living the Whole Picture, and how here we are recording solo episodes about human design. It looks nothing like what I thought it would be. As I sat down to record this very episode, I thought maybe I should just get through the human design series and take a break. And who knows, maybe I will. But then as I started talking it through, here we are now. That's sacral authority working exactly as it should. The gut says keep going, so here I am. I keep showing up. We already covered what ignoring it looks like in a parking lot. The bigger pattern in my life shows up in jobs and people. I have a tendency to stay way longer than I should. At jobs, around people, in situations where my gut knows long before I left that it was time to go. And the painful part always is that I actually did know. My gut was never confused. I kept overriding it, telling myself to be grateful, pushing through, waiting for things to get better. My brain kept building the case for staying, and my body kept trying to say something different. And it has cost me friendships. It's cost me energy, time, peace, in running, in relationships, at work, every area of my life. And we talked about the gut health issues in my health series earlier this season. I still wonder how much of that was connected to staying out of alignment for as long as I did. My body started speaking the only language loud enough to make me stop. Once I finally listened and made the change, the gut issues went away. Now, I'm not saying that is cause and effect. I'm just saying that I notice these things now. So this pattern and what it has taught me, not everybody is meant to stick. That is one of the truest things I know now. Some people come into your life for a reason and a season, and that's it. Learning when to walk away from a job, from a friendship, from a situation that costs more than it gives, that is one of the most important skills you can develop. Your brain will always find a reason to stay. Your gut actually knows the truth long before you're ready to hear it. I am getting better at trusting my now that I'm older than I was years ago. Getting older helps with a lot of things. The patterns start becoming clearer the more times you see it play out. My brain is still loud. My heart still gets in the way sometimes. But I am getting better at noticing the gap between what my head is saying and what my body already knows. And slowly, I am getting better at choosing the body. I'm not perfect. Sometimes you have to learn to walk away and make your own peace. That is what sacral authority has been teaching me, slowly and sometimes painfully, for most of my life. So if you have sacral authority in your human design chart, your decision-making tool is not your mind. It is the immediate gut response before logic kicks in. It sounds simple enough. Living it is one of the hardest things you'll do because everything around you is designed to make you think your way through decisions instead of feel your way through them. Now, if you haven't pulled your chart, I'll again link to Tracy Hill's website in the show notes so you can find out what your inner authority actually is. then you can start paying attention to what it is actually telling you, not what your head wants you to be true, not what looks good on paper, what your body already knows before your brain gets involved. So next week, we're going into the money line, channel 2145, and what it actually means when you have it and are still figuring money out. That one's going to be interesting. Stay tuned. So that's all I've got for now. Until next week, bye for now, y'all.